The president spoke to reporters in the Oval Office this evening. He teased the sweeping tariff schedule to take effect on Wednesday, but did not offer many details. He was also asked about a third term in office.
If you were allowed, for some reason, to run for a third term, is there a thought that the Democrats could try to run Barack Obama against you?
I'd love that.
For his third term?
Boy, I'd love that. That would be a good one. I'd like that. No, people are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term. I don't know. I never looked into it. They do say there's a way you can do it, but I don't know about that. But I have not looked into it.
President Trump today downplaying his own comments about running for a third term. But over the weekend, Trump said he's actually not joking about it. So is a third term laughable or a possibility? Well, let me ask what you all been thinking. Can he do that? Well, the Constitution makes one thing clear. He can't be elected to a third term. Look at the 22nd Amendment. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. There's that word again, elected. Now, Trump's supporters, they're highlighting that word. So the question is there another way he could become the president without actually being elected? Well, Trump can't run again, but his Vice President J.D. Vance can. Imagine a scenario where Vance runs for president and flips the ticket. This time it is Trump who is Vance's running mate. And if Vance wins, he could resign and then hand the presidency back to Trump. Even Trump suggested it. But then check out the 12th Amendment. It states if someone is constitutionally ineligible for the presidency, well, then they can't be the VP. So then Trump couldn't be anyone's running mate, it seems. But then say Vance wins with a different running mate, and then that VP resigns. Well, the 25th Amendment says the president can choose a different VP, and as long as Congress gives the thumbs up, well, could that be Trump? These are all hypotheticals. And even Senate Majority Leader John Thune says that Trump can't serve another term without, quote, a change in the Constitution. And they could change the Constitution, but it's no cakewalk, my friends. You got to pass by 2/3 of Congress, ratified by 3/4 of the states. But longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon has a response to that cakewalk. We're working on it.
We want Trump in 28. That's what they can't stand. A man like Trump comes along only once or twice in a country's history, right?
All right. Hold on. Hang on. What do we have to do to get Trump 2028?
We gotta show up and stay loud.
Exactly. We got to maybe work the Constitution too. Although I think there's a way to slip through there, but you never know.
I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028.
You know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it.
With me now, Ann Applebaum, staff writer for The Atlantic and the author of the piece just out this morning, America's Future is Hungry. And I want to begin with what the president says he's not joking about. Why is it so difficult for people to believe he might be serious about seeking a third term?
Because we've all become very complacent about our Constitution, about the rule of law. We just assume these things will last because they've always lasted. And the idea that a president would actively seek to break the law and destroy the Constitution still seems incredible to Americans. And yet we have a president who's breaking the law every day and abolishing programs mandated by Congress every day. Nevertheless, this radical change in our politics is something I think people are just overwhelmed by and can't accept.
That's why your piece, I felt, was so striking. I mean, it's out this morning, and in it, you talk about how one person who changed the Constitution to stay in power is Hungary's autocratic leader, Viktor Orban. And in your piece, you write about how much MAGA leaders admire him. What is it about him that they find so appealing?
I think what they find appealing about Orban is that he's someone who was democratically elected. He was a legitimate leader of Hungary. But when he won election for the second time, he was very determined never to lose again. And so he set about undermining, reshaping, destroying all kinds of Hungarian institutions, from the judiciary to the media to the civil service to the universities. I think they particularly admire the way he actually destroyed a university. He did all kinds of bureaucratic changes to make the other universities essentially loyal to him so that he could have influence over faculty and programs. All those things are people who are power hungry and who dream of locking in the presidency and locking in the US government for good, see that and they find something admirable. You know, Viktor Orban set up a kind of one-party state. It's very difficult for him to lose an election. And that's what they want too. And they're not actually all that, they're all not all that shy about saying it. And you heard Steve Bannon in the clips you've just played more or less that.
And one of the things that struck me is the idea of the laws that were changed to make conduct that people would initially find illegal now to be in line with what he has changed the laws to talk about. And you write about how that America is spinning quickly in the direction of Hungarian populism, Hungarian politics, and Hungarian justice. But that means Hungarian stagnation, Hungarian corruption, and Hungarian poverty lie in our future too. So what kind of impact has Orban's rule actually had on his country?
This is very rarely looked at. A lot of people have written about Orban's language about immigrants, about his defiance of the European Union, about his role trying to court Trump and other European far-right political leaders and political parties. Not that many people look at what actually happened in Hungary. And what happened in Hungary is that it became one of the poorest countries in the European Union. It's stagnating, very poor healthcare, very poor education. A lot of Hungarians leave the country, especially educated Hungarians. There's a problem in some Hungarian hospitals because so many doctors have wanted to leave. It's a stagnant country. There's about between a fifth and a quarter of the Hungarian economy is now dominated by companies who have direct links to the prime minister. Many of them are led by his family members. His son-in-law has become particularly wealthy, but other members of his family have as well. You know, those are companies that exist because of their relationship with the state. They're not entrepreneurial. They don't have normal business practices. That's a big weight on the economy. And also the gradual deterioration of the rule of law scares off other companies. People who really want to do business or want to make money stay away from Hungary because of the corruption, of the political pressure. You know, you can't really exist there even as a foreign company unless you have some crony-ish relationship with the state and with the ruling party. And over time, over a decade, that's taken a real toll on the Hungarian economy. And in Hungary, a lot of those changes have been restricted or mitigated by the European Union, by other international institutions. I mean, those are things that we don't even have here in the United States.
It's striking, and people would be very prudent to read this and really reflect on, be careful what you wish for and who you admire if you don't look past the initial personality and the impact on the country instead. Anne Applebaum, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.